All right, today we're going to dive deep into the psychology of a really complex arrangement in the world of consensual non-monogamy, the hot-wife dynamic. We're going to break down the motivations, the process, and, yeah, the potential pitfalls, all based on what relationship psychology tells us. So this brings us to a really big question, one that kind of flips a lot of what we're taught on its head. Can giving a partner more sexual freedom actually make a relationship stronger? This question really challenges our traditional ideas, and it sets the stage for everything we're about to get into. Okay, before we go any further, there's this one key idea you absolutely have to get your head around. It's called compersion. You can basically think of it as the polar opposite of jealousy. It's the emotional engine that makes this whole dynamic work for some people. It's this genuine happiness you feel from seeing your partner happy, even if that happiness involves someone else. Now, let's be super clear about what this isn't. The hot wife dynamic is not the same as swinging, where couples usually play together. And it's not polyamory, which is more about having multiple committed romantic relationships. The big difference here is the specific focus on the wife's sexual freedom, with her partner's full-on, enthusiastic support. Okay, so if a couple is even thinking about this, where do they start? Well, the journey actually begins way before anyone even says a word. Phase one is all about laying the groundwork, and that starts with a really, really honest look inside. And this right here, this is why that soul searching is so important. The number one reason couples who try this don't make it isn't because their rules were bad, it's because they didn't really understand their own motivations. That's the biggest tripwire. So this is the first hard question you gotta ask yourself. Are you looking to add something exciting to a relationship that's already solid? Or are you secretly hoping this will fix something that's broken, a lack of intimacy maybe, or some distance you're feeling? The sources are unanimous on this. This kind of dynamic can make a strong bond even stronger, but it will absolutely shatter a weak one. And that brings us to the next big question. What's the actual architecture of your relationship like? Do you have the infrastructure to handle this? We're talking top-tier communication, the kind where you can talk about your deepest fears without getting defensive. We're talking about trust that is absolutely rock solid. These things aren't just nice-to-haves. They are non-negotiable. You have to have them. Okay, so let's say all that internal work is done. Now you've reached what is probably the trickiest part of all, starting the conversation. And the whole game here is about planting seeds, not applying pressure. Just look at how this first talk is broken down here. It's a real process, right? Notice the little things, like choosing a neutral, relaxed time. And definitely not right after sex. You start by saying how happy and attracted you are, so your partner doesn't feel like they're being criticized. And you use I statements. It's not, I want you to do this. It's, I feel. It's an invitation to explore something together, not a demand. And this is really the ethical bottom line of the whole thing. Your goal is not to convince them. It's not about getting them to say yes. The real goal is to help your partner make a truly informed decision, whatever that decision ends up being. All right, so if that conversation goes well and you're both curious, you move into phase 3. This is where you get to work building your framework. You're basically becoming architects, designing a structure of trust and safety that can hold this new exploration. Whoa, just take a look at this. You can see right away, this is not a casual chat. We're talking about getting into the nitty-gritty. Are friends off limits? What happens if someone catches feelings? Do you want to know all the details or none of them? You have to talk about all of it. These questions are the pillars of the whole structure. To make sure you're both actually hearing the same thing, the advice is to write it all down. This isn't some legal contract to hold over your partner's head. Think of it more as a tool for clarity. It's a shared document you can both look at to remember what you agreed on, especially when emotions might be running high. Okay, framework's built. Now you're at phase 4, and this is a big one. Moving from just talking about it to the real world. And the key word here, you gotta hear me on this, is carefully. This is all about dipping a toe in, not cannonballing into the deep end. This progression is so important. You don't just jump in. You start small, in the safest place possible. Just fantasy, role-playing, talking about it. That lets you check out the emotional landscape without any real-world consequences. Only after that do you move on to a carefully planned first experience. And then, right after, you do maybe the most important part of all, emotional aftercare. You set aside time to just be together, reconnect, and process everything. And listen, this is a huge reality check.
The way you feel thinking about it, that can be totally different from how you feel when it's actually happening. That excitement you have in your head might suddenly turn into anxiety or jealousy in the moment. According to all the research, that's completely normal. Expecting some turbulence isn't a sign you're failing, it's a sign you're prepared. Okay, so after that first time, the work is not over. In fact, some of the most important work is just beginning. It's time for the debrief. This is where you have to be super honest about what worked and what didn't. You pinpoint the triggers, good and bad, and you use that real-world experience to tweak your rules. That feedback loop is absolutely essential if this is going to work long-term. All right, that brings us to our last big section here, the long-term view. I mean, getting started is one thing, right? But keeping this going in a healthy, sustainable way for years, that is a whole other challenge. So these are the big mistakes, the things that can really put a relationship in danger. And you'll probably notice a pattern here. Almost all of them go back to messing up that initial self-assessment. Trying to use this to fix something, ignoring how your partner really feels, or forgetting that this is about her experience, not just your fantasy.
So on the flip side, what's the secret sauce for couples who make this work? Well, it all comes down to constant maintenance. They check in with each other all the time. They always put their main relationship first, above the lifestyle. And they stay flexible, ready to change the rules as they themselves change and grow. It's a living thing.
When you look at it this way, it really changes how you see the whole thing, right? The point isn't to convert your partner into something for you. It's about going on a shared journey of discovery to find things out about yourselves and your relationship that you might never have found otherwise. And that leaves us with this final, powerful question, the one that really gets to the heart of it all. Take a step back and ask, is this really about getting your partner to act out your fantasy? Or is it about exploring, together, what your relationship is truly capable of? The answer to that question, well, it changes everything.